Hey guys, today I'm gonna rank every Coldplay album because why the hell not, and I haven't got anything better to do. Let's go. Number 8. Ghost Stories. No album even comes close to how bad this one is compared to others. Every song is absolutely mediocre. And they're all the exact freaking same. I mean, except from A Sky Full of Stars. But even the album version of that was mediocre. I mean, the music video version, because all the crowd joined in towards the end, that's what made it really good. But just without that, it just feels all desolate. And why the hell didn't you add the crowd bit? I mean, apart from that, the song was good, but this album just ain't it. When you have albums such as the ones that'll be coming up in the top 3 and even the top 4. Could argue even the top 5, to be honest. Number 7. Not bad, but not good. That's the definition of everyday life, in my opinion. It started off woefully. I didn't like any of the first 3 or 4 songs. And then I think Daddy was the first one I liked, and from there it grew. Likes to Cry, Cry, Cry. I've got some pretty... They're not great, but they're pretty good songs for the most part. Orphans and that. But you have got a couple of bangers, Champions of the World, Guns, I think Echo or Echo, Echo, Echo. Not sure if it's called Echo, 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 Echo. Yeah, that's a banger. But the best song is by far Arabesque. It's just a banger. Alright, number 6 up next. Number 6. Milo Xyloto. Strange thing to call an album, but I won't argue. Every single song from this album has done absolutely banging on YouTube, getting over 100 million views. So, in terms of YouTube, this is their most successful album. But definitely not their best. And I think it's the first time where the best song is actually one of their big ones, and Every Teardrop is a waterfall for me, because that song is just a banger. I mean, Paradise is good, and a lot of the album's pretty good, but House Like Heaven's good. It's Us Against the World. I love that. I've got a soft spot for that song, and I'll tell you later why. But some songs just ain't it. Like, some songs look like they're ending, and then they have a random piece of music just put at the end of it. Just make it a separate song. You've already got 3 really short songs. And I think this has only got 12 songs. I mean, Everyday Life has 16, X and Y before it had 14, so just make them separate songs and it might not sound as bad. And besides, all your really short ones were instrumental and also merged into other songs. But enough about that stuff. I think we should just move on to that reason why It's Us Against the World is probably the song I will cherish the most and want played on my funeral because of a juicy meme.
Incest?
Amogus. Oh, number 5. Oh, the music videos in this album sent us on such a trip, baby. Monkey found music. I will show you at the end, but you should already know. The friggin' music video has 1.1 billion views, for Christ's sake. It's a venture of a lifetime, of course. But in seriousness, for me, this is their most underrated album, because a lot of people put it in the worst, and I'm just thinking, what's wrong with you? This album's freaking a banger. There's no bad songs for me at all. They're all decent, and some bangers. I mean, obviously you've got Him for the Weekend, Adventure of a Lifetime, actually, and Up and Up, their best song on that album by a mile. I do highly rate that song, trust me. But yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not as good as 4 other albums, which we'll move on to next. And by the way, here's Monkey. Because, most importantly, Monkey is king. Number 4. And now we enter the golden era of Coldplay, with a Golden Globe. 2 jokes in one. Haha, funny pun. Ha 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 ha. And by the way, if you don't think Trouble is the best song of this album, there's something wrong with you, because it is. But yeah. See, you just hummed it. It's so catchy and a freaking sick song, okay? But yeah. Most songs are bangers, but not absolute goated songs of all time. That's why number one's number one when we get to it. There's only 3 left to choose from, so make your guesses. So, yeah. The top 3 are actually really close together, and on another day I could interchange them, for definite. I could put, say, 3rd place in number 1 one day, but then put 3rd place in second the next, and then 2nd place in number... Like they're so easy to interchange because they're really good albums, but enough of that, let's talk about Parachutes. What a debut album. One of the best of all time. Some great songs with Yellow, Shiver, Sparks, Trouble. But there is one bad song. Well, that's a Japanese extra for you. It's just boring as balls. Anyways, let's move on to number 3. And let's see which guesses out of yours is incorrect. Let's go. And also, did you know that the Shiver music video, if you look carefully towards the side, you'll actually see the globe used in this album cover. I'll show you a picture. Number 3. Massively underrated album. X and Y is my number 3. Because this is when people started to get bored of them. So it didn't get the respect it deserved, really. But it definitely deserves the respect. When Fix You was probably one of the worst songs in the album, if not the worst song, that's when you know you've got a banger of an anthem. Because Fix You is a banger. But yeah, X and Y's 3rd for me, but another day could well be 2nd or even 1st. It's got an X and a Y, just like Everyday Life is a sunrise and a sunset. But they've got a lot longer songs than X and Y, so you might feel more bored. But it's not justifiable to say it's a really bad album because of it. Because the songs are great. Let's move on to our top 2. Which one is the best album? It's between A Rush of Blood to the Head and Viva La Vida. One of the best albums by Coldplay, A Rush of Blood to the Head, which is my number 2, which means that there's only one left, which is my number 1, of course. But it has one of the worst album covers. It looks like a dead Smurf after suffering a cocaine overdose. Like, seriously, it looks awful. But none of the songs are awful. Not even mediocre. Not even pretty good. They're all bangers, alright. You've got some absolutely amazing songs on this. So, of course, you've got The Scientist, In My Place, Clocks. Those are the infamous ones. You've always got to dig deep for the best songs, even if the other big ones are bangers. Unless they're Milo Xyloto, of course, which we talked about earlier. So, yeah, every song's a banger on this album. But let's hurry up and move on to the number 1, which we all know by now. The best album by Coldplay is Viva La Vida or Death to All His Friends. I don't care what you call it. I don't care about anything, really. All I care about is that whether you call it Viva La Vida or Death to All His Friends, it'll have a title track in this album, because there's a song called Viva La Vida, which we all know. I used to roll the dice and blah blah blah. And then Death to All the Friends, which some people don't. But anyways, this is number 1, because it doesn't have just bangers. It has some of the best songs by Coldplay. For me, my favourite song is definitely Violet Hill, because it's just one of the best songs they've ever made. Because I can't really say a banger, because I said they're more than bangers, because they are more than bangers. And guess what? They can even afford to have one mediocre song. A Rush of Blood to Their Head didn't have one, but still isn't as good as Viva La Vida, because the amount of just legendary songs by Coldplay there isn't this one. So, before you go, I've got one more fact. Ghost Stories is the only album by Coldplay not to have a track in the album of the same name as the freaking... There was the album. Viva La Vida, obviously, is Viva La Vida. Milo Xyloto, first track is called Milo Xyloto. But Ghost Stories, it has Ghost Story, but that's exclusively on the A Sky Full of Stars single, I think. But it's not Ghost Stories, so it doesn't, even if it is on the actual album. That's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.